Hello, my name is Reginald Bullock, and I am the author of Father to Son, a guide to growing up in a difficult world. This next chapter, health and fitness, is so important. You know, you only get one body, you only get one machine, and you got to make it work, and you got to keep it and make it last. As a child growing up, I just didn't have the information. I remember I used to get headaches from playing basketball all the time. I look back on it, it was because I was dehydrated. I didn't know better. I did not know that I'm supposed to drink a whole lot of water to replenish what I lost from sweating. I just didn't know. So that's a health and fitness tip for you, right? Stay hydrated or you'll get headaches and fall out. Eating. I mean, I grew up in the Bullock family. So, when you go to cousins and aunts' houses and everybody show up, it's like five, six meats and all kinds of other foods and mashed potatoes and gravy and macaroni and cheese, standard stuff, and pies and cakes. And, it's a badge of honor to eat three plates. You eat one plate, no, you need to eat at least two. And the badge of honor is to eat three. And you're putting all of these, can you imagine eating like 12,000 calories, in one sitting? And you get your badge of honor. You get a lot of other stuff too. So a lot of times we're just not aware of what we're supposed to do, what we're not supposed to do when it comes to the health and fitness of our body, exercising and just daily habits until that knock on the door called stroke, heart attack, or something with your blood or high blood pressure, whatever. And your doc says, hey, you need to change your lifestyle. You need to start thinking about your, health and fitness and get yourself together. So this chapter attempts to wake you up and give you something to think about at a young age that hopefully you carry for the rest of your life. Enjoy the chapter.
Chapter 11, Health and Fitness. I feel that it is very important for me to mention something on the subject of health and fitness. Over the years, I've managed to maintain my body in pretty good shape and health. In the beginning, when I was a teenager, it was to look good for the girls. Having a sculptured body had many advantages. After marrying an extremely attractive young lady, having a muscular body kept the so-called dogs away. People would size me up and not bother me or my wife because of my physical appearance. Now that I'm older and have been married for over 14 years, staying in shape is more for my personal health than those earlier reasons. Do not get me wrong. Had it not been for those earlier reasons, I may be fighting an uphill battle, as many are now who are my age. So, the ego paid off. You need to keep your body running at its optimum level as much as you can. The body is one of the most complex, one-of-a-kind masterpieces on Earth. Therefore, it must be maintained if you want to keep it. Because your body has 70,000 miles of blood vessels and the heart has to pump blood through its labyrinth and back again once every minute, common sense should tell you that whatever you put in your veins gets pumped through your body. That is why drugs are so dangerous. All that stuff goes through your heart, as does alcohol, which many people thought only went to the brain. In 1 year, the average human heart circulates from 770,000 to 1.6 million gallons of blood through the body, enough fluid to fill 200 tank cars, each with a capacity of 8,000 gallons. Therefore, since your heart is one of the most vital organs in your body, you need to be careful about what comes in contact with it. Just as maintaining your heart is important, you must equally be concerned about your lungs. If they stop working, so do you. The human body cannot survive for more than a few minutes in an environment that lacks oxygen. Consequently, God has designed your lungs to operate without you having to think about it. They perform their function automatically, non-stop every day for your entire life. Although many people are beginning to become aware of how important it is to take care of their heart, they are not so equally educated and concerned about their lungs. Oxygen is required for the normal functioning of all living body cells. This vital gas reaches the body cells via the bloodstream. Each red blood cell transports oxygen molecules to the body tissues. Just as what you ingest goes through your heart, The same applies to what you breathe. Whatever you breathe goes through your entire body by way of the bloodstream. That is why air pollution and smoking are two of the most hazardous items in our atmosphere. However, they are controllable. Most advanced martial arts practitioners are familiar with how important proper breathing is. As I said, breathing occurs automatically. However, the parts that are not automatic are the other attributes which can also be obtained by breathing. There is a theory surrounding a word called ki. The literal translation of ki is air. However, ki is much more an elemental force, life energy. Ki power makes change and influences all things, including non-living things. Many people refer to ki power as energy, a vital force, nervous energy, or psychic energy. It takes practice, dedication, and concentration, but once mastered, you will have unlocked one of the many mysteries of the world. Bruce Lee mastered the ability to knock a man down with a 1-inch punch. You can best believe he had full control of his ki when he delivered his punch. Although you may never need to use a 1-inch punch, you will need to use the benefits of ki. Now that you have been shown the path of ki, it is up to you whether you take the journey. Although your involuntary operational organs are extremely vital to your very existence, you have many other parts of your body which need to be maintained also. Your bones, your muscles, and your skin are all items which have a direct effect on you. For instance, did you know that a simple, moderately severe sunburn damages the blood vessels to such an extent that it takes 4 to 15 months for them to return to their normal condition? Did you also know that 18 ounces of an average cola drink contains as much caffeine as a cup of coffee? Talk about drugs. Learn about what you put into and onto your body. Ignorance can be harmful. Son, never allow yourself to become overweight. Most overweight children remain overweight as adults. Some did not do anything to control their weight at a younger age, and as they grew older, it became too difficult to deal with. A few are just happy and comfortable being large and would not change it for anything. Nevertheless, there are too many overweight people in this world. Because of fast foods and other conveniences, we are always eating and nibbling, in many cases once an hour. The problem is these same people are not exercising to get rid of the calories. Excess weight is the result of the imbalance between caloric intake as food and caloric expenditure as energy, either in maintaining the basic metabolic processes necessary to sustain life or in performing physical activity. Calories not spent in either of these ways become converted to fat and accumulate in the body as fat or adipose tissue. There are some overweight people who have slow metabolism and, for the most part, are going to always be overweight. Perhaps their main concern is not to become obese. For those types of people, it is more or less a medical condition they have to live with. For the rest of the world, the problem lies somewhere in their excuses. Son, you must try to always stay in shape. The heart that pumps blood through a 400-pound overweight man is the same size as the one in a 200-pound healthy man. You would not use a car engine to run an 18-wheeler tractor trailer, would you? It is the same concept. Do not become that tractor trailer. You only have a car-size heart. You do not have to be Mr. Fitness either. Just be consistent. Try to exercise at least 3 times a week for 15 to 30 minutes. It will strengthen your bones, relieve depression, slow the aging process, and ease stress and anxiety. Regular exercise will also improve your cholesterol profile, enhance your self-image, and improve the quality of your sleep. For the long-term consideration, exercise can also reduce your risk of chronic diseases, improve your mental capacity, and lower your risk of getting certain cancers. Do not wait until it is overdue. There's a very important piece of information you should know. It is so important that if I do not tell you, you might find out the hard way. It is inevitable, it is a sad fact, and it is a culprit that most people are fighting every day. When you turn 30 years of age, your body will turn against you. If you continue to eat the same amount of foods as you did at 20 years of age when you turn 30, you will get fat. If you do not have a regular exercise routine in place, you will get fat. If you do not watch your caloric intake, you will get fat. If you do not believe what I'm telling you, you will get fat. Do not let what has happened to the many disbelievers happen to you. Most of them are still in the denial stage. Although it can happen anywhere between age 20 and 30, let age 27 be the warning stage and begin to prepare for the body transformation. You can believe me or not, but it will happen. Presently, I train about 3 times a week in Tong Soo Do martial arts. Not only is it healthy for me, it helps in other obvious areas also. Occasionally, I will play tennis, basketball, football, table tennis, or racquetball to add diversity to my exercise routines. Hiking, skating, swimming, running, and walking are also activities I enjoy to break out of monotony. When my wife and I bought our first house, we stayed very active with home improvements. Carpentry, landscaping, masonry work, roofing, plumbing, painting, and other home improvement projects kept us in shape. The main thing is to be conscious of your body and its needs. If you do not keep it running at optimum level when you really need it, it will not perform. Speaking of perform, I would like to shift to an area that is near and dear to the heart of most young men as well as older men. Let us talk about sports. Sports is viewed in many ways by many people. It has made millionaires and has sent others into the poorhouse. It has brought many people together and has separated marriages. It has given to some incredible abilities and strength and has crippled others for life. Sports has caused all sorts of fights and battles, and it has calmed the fiercest crowds. For some, sports is everything, while for others, it is nothing. As you travel through life, you too will find your rightful place in the world of sports. From the time a child is born, they are being introduced to sports. The very nature of play stimulates the muscles in preparation for future usage. Once a child is able to walk, he or she is introduced to other types of play to simulate running. I am sure that world-class runner and champion Carl Lewis had many running stimulus activities when he was a child. By the time a child reaches age 3 or 4, he begins to develop specific interests based on his environment. It may be cold, warm, coastal, mountainous, urban, suburban, heavily populated, dense, agricultural, industrial, or technological. Whatever the type, he will be influenced by his environment. These influences will transcend into his school-age years. This is where he begins to specialize in various sports, whether it is basketball, baseball, football, hockey, tennis, swimming, gymnastics, karate, judo, boxing, wrestling, track and field, soccer, or any other type of sport. The foundation of most particular sports is usually built during the school-age years. With this foundation, many have gone on to establish professional careers in sports, while others were just content at achieving their short-term goals. Sports has been for many people a vehicle to achieve a means to an end. Although for some, sports has given them a future, for others it has not. For every one success story in sports, there are 1,000 wannabes. Keeping in mind that there are only 24 hours in a day, too many people waste their days just watching sports. Do not get me wrong, watching sports is good entertainment. I love watching sports when I have the time, especially the Super Bowl, the playoffs, the championships, the World Series, the Stanley Cup, and other end-of-season games. The problem comes when that is all a person does. There are men with families and responsibilities who will neglect their responsibilities to watch sports for hours on end. They live for the game. They even know the stats of the teams and players better than some of the newscasters. Unfortunately, they are allowing sports to run their lives. Watching sports on television for some is just plain old fun. They are seasonal with it, so the family understands and allows them their time. For others, it is an addiction. They are living someone else's dream and success. I have seen fights break out over all sorts of stuff in the name of sports. If you say something wrong about someone's favorite player, they will fight in defense of that player. If you downgrade or belittle someone's team, that could start a riot. It is crazy how emotional people can get over sports. The part that really gets me is that none of the guys are getting paid to be spectators. As a matter of fact, they are the ones contributing to the player's salary, yet in most cases, the players are not even aware of the individuals. There is also the element of gambling, betting, suckering, or whatever you want to call it. Big money is made and lost every day from all sorts of sports. People are betting now on who the MVP will be at the end of the season. Many people have various football pools and other group participation gambling activities. For some, it is how they earn a living. All they do is bet on sports. For a while, I used to bet on sports pretty often. After a while, I learned my lesson. Since I never won, I could only count my losses. My losses added up to a healthy sum over a period of time. I then resorted to gambling on billiards only. Because I was pretty proficient at the game, it was basically a one-on-one sport. The odds were more in my favor than betting on someone else. At least this way, I had more control of the game. Since those days, I have even given up betting on billiards. Don't get me wrong, I have won my fair share in billiards. I used to earn spending money for both me and my brother by hustling the pool table. It is just that I have become more practical with my money. Nevertheless, every once in a while, I do come across someone whose mouth is bigger than his game. When that happens, the thrill of shutting them up is the challenge I accept. The money is usually their idea. If you really want to learn something about gambling, look into the loser's eyes as he hands over his money to a smiling winner. Not only will you learn something, you might feel something as well. As long as there are sports, there are always going to be people betting on the game. I think the Romans had a lot to do with it. Just remember, at the end of the game, there will be a loser and a winner. I hope you are a winner. Sports is fun, but I like watching sports on television. It can be addictive. Should you have a desire to pursue a career in sports, I recommend you at least research the sport as much as you can. Find out everything about the sport. Study its history from its first conceptualization up to its present-day changes. Talk to players and participants of the sport about their attitudes and personal feelings towards the sport. Some football players will tell you not to play football because of the permanent injuries you could sustain. Also, talk to retired football players and other retired sports players. Get the real scoop, the truth. Always try to know as much about what you are getting into before you get into it. It helps you stay in it. I would also like to point out that it is a very good idea to master as many activities as your ability allows while you are young. As you get older, you will not have the time to learn too many new sports, not to mention your body may not be as cooperative either. Therefore, if you have mastered an activity at a young age, it will be part of your repertoire when you get older. It would also give you a wide range of activities to choose from, depending on your time and resources. So do not just learn one thing, learn them all. Besides, you will not only have fun doing it, you will be contributing to a healthy body. I hope this chapter has helped you to understand a little more about health and fitness. I hope it also inspired you to learn more about your body and how to maintain it. Whether you become a professional sports athlete or not, I encourage you to partake in some sort of physical activities regularly for your entire life. Your heart and the rest of your body will be very thankful if you maintain a regular routine in some sort of physical activity. Medically, emotionally, spiritually, and of course physically, it is necessary to stay active. It also helps if you eat the right foods. After you reach 30, you too will be thankful. Good luck in maintaining the only body you have. Remember, there are no trade-ins. You have the original. Notes. Use this section to write down a few notes about yourself as it relates to health and fitness, or any subject for that matter. Your notes will give you something to reflect on the next time you read this book. Don't forget to date it and put your present age. You might want to put down the types of sports you enjoy watching or playing. Do you have a favorite team, player, or position? Perhaps you are an ice skater, rollerblader, or surfer. How many push-ups can you do? Crunches, pull-ups? How far can you run? 1 mile, 2, maybe 5? What is your pulse rate? Are you sick all the time? Overweight? Can you swim 2 lengths of the pool? Do you lift weights? Jot down a few notes now.